Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Lots About Something podcast. This is the podcast where we, the Lots, always talk about something. So it's never nothing. It's always going to be something, and hopefully it's going to be something that is enjoyable to you, keeps your attention, maybe makes you laugh a little bit, helps you on your car ride or your walk or your run or your mountain climbing, whatever it is that you're doing. And we just want to say thank you so much for stopping by, spending a couple of minutes with us today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Chris, and I am one of the hosts, and I am joined by my lovely bride, Christy. How are you doing today, Christy?
Doing good.
Doing good. Have you ever thought about getting a shirt that said doing good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All the time. Coffee cups.
You want to get a coffee cup? You just
T-shirts.
Want to do a whole branding thing, huh?
Hat, doing good.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. Well, hopefully you are doing good and everybody out there is doing good. We've got a really great podcast episode. I've got something for you, Christy, that is brand new. It's a brand new segment. We've never done it before, but I'm really excited about it.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be all just off the cuff for you.
Oh, this should be interesting.
I'm hoping so. But before we get to that, we do have to get into a segment that we like to call What's New. And in this segment, we just kind of talk about what's new, what has been happening since the last time that we did What's New. So, Christy, what do you have? What do you have that's new? Anything that's happening in your world? Anything this week that was great, grand, wonderful, worth telling, talking about?
You asked me and I told you it's been kind of a boring week for me.
I don't think that's true, though. You've had a lot of things happen. Number one being, we saw No Belt Boy
together.
You
met him.
I met No Belt Boy. I have to be honest, No Belt Boy did not look anything like what I thought he was going to look like. And it didn't look like he needed a belt. His pants seemed to be up just fine without a belt.
He might have had jogging pants on yesterday.
I didn't pay attention.
Well, you looked to see if he was wearing a belt.
I did look to see if he was wearing a belt, but I can't remember if I paid attention to exactly what kind of pants that he was wearing. But we did see No Belt Boy.
And what was one of the first things he said when he saw you?
He said, "Are you Christy?"
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. What did he say?
Got any paper coupons?
Oh, yeah, he did ask for paper coupons.
And then he said,
"Do you want to hear a Halloween joke?"
And we knew what was coming.
And honestly, I felt a little slighted because I feel like because I was the one driving, You
intimidated No Belt Boy. He didn't say as much as he normally does.
No, I don't think I intimidated him. I think what happened was, I think No Belt Boy is truly working with limited material. And so he told me the same joke that he told you last week, which was something about how do you fix a broken jack-o'-lantern with a pumpkin patch. And I laughed. And honestly, I gave him a courtesy laugh because I knew that he had told you that joke last week. And it wasn't new, and I don't know that I was real happy about it.
I know. I told the girls, I was like, girls, don't y'all laugh at him when he comes up. He doesn't know anything about No Belt Boy.
I really honestly wanted to invite him to come to our house to be on the podcast
Y'all be on
today.
Your best behavior, girls. Don't.
I mean, we are in the presence of No Belt Boy. You've got to be on your best behavior is pretty much the words that came out of our mouths.
Yeah, but I haven't had it's just been a normal week for me.
Well, we went to a birthday party for Bray Bray, who is your cousin, and we've watched Bray Bray since he was
a newborn,
a brand new little baby. Practically grew up at our house until he went to school, and so he had a birthday party. So we went to that this week, and it was Among Us. And if you're not familiar with Among Us is a video game, and he loves video games. And it was that kind of a themed party, and so that was a lot of fun. Did you enjoy that?
I did.
You know, one of the things that a lot of people need to realize, if they want you to participate in their event, so let's say they're having an event and they want you to be there. Number one, you don't want to just be there just because, except for one reason. If they have cake.
Well, cake is always better when you're going somewhere.
If anybody ever wants you to be drawn to whatever it is that they're doing, they need to have cake, because you will immediately be on your way. Like, that ups the game to you. Like, if you're having an event, no cake, you're out automatically. You're not going. But if they have cake, the percentage that you're going to attend increases a pretty good bit.
You know what would make it better for some events?
All right, what?
You know how you go to events and you have to wait around for the cake?
Yes.
If they would just offer the cake at the beginning of whatever we're going to, then we wouldn't have to stay the whole time. We could just leave when we did to get our cake.
That's true. I think that's why they do the cake at the end, because they don't want you to leave. They want you to stay and anticipate getting the cake. And so that's...
Now, I'm not talking about Brace Party. I love Brace Party, but just in general, some places,
In general, to raise the percentage for your attendance, if they just had cake, it would help a lot.
It's got to be good cake, though.
Yeah. What do you think is good cake? What do you consider to be good cake?
Just about any cake.
All right. Well, that's wide open then. Any cake.
Publix cakes are good. Costco cakes are good.
Yeah. What is the cake? What is
my
the cake?
Cakes are good.
No, you make great cakes. You make a really great birthday cake.
Cookie cakes from the mall are good.
Okay, that's not true.
Cookie cakes?
That's not true.
Chris, that's one of the best cookie cakes you can get. I keep asking you to go by the mall and pick me up one day.
Cookie cake is not good.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry to tell you this. It is not tasty at all.
Well, that more for me. You don't have to eat any of it.
That's fine. But what is the cake that we sometimes, I don't think we've ever gotten it, but my family, I think, gets it. And it has like the custard.
That's the Costco cake.
That's Costco?
Mm-hmm.
That's normally a really good cake.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that cake. So you like cake so much, you actually went to the store.
That's something good that happened.
Last night.
So we went to Bray's party.
Yes.
And we ate some cake.
2 pieces.
I only ate one.
I ate 2. I'm not going to lie.
And my twin sister called me up and said, "Hey, you want to go get us a cake?" I was like, just a cake? So we went to Publix and found these little rectangle cakes. So we don't want to buy a whole cake.
I was surprised at what you came home with.
Well, I mean, we don't need a whole cake because we're on Weight Watchers. So
yeah.
And we probably would have eat it. But
yeah.
I'll tell you what.
100%.
That was a good piece of cake.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. And you brought ice cream home, and we had our own cake and ice cream party last night.
No reason at all.
No reason at all. And you know what? That is, for that reason, I felt like yesterday was a really great day.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about just going to buy a cake just to go buy a cake.
Yeah.
That's living a good life, isn't it?
That is living. That's how you know you've made it. When you're just able to just go buy cake for no reason.
And you found the right spouse when they just agree with you and say, "Yeah, I want some cake too." Yeah. And we just eat cake together.
We eat cake together. You know what? Another reason that I know that you are the one for me is because you love to eat Waffle House for dinner as well.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good Waffle House dinner.
It's got to be good.
No, it does have to be good. That is true. Last time we got Waffle House, it was not good. It was a bad experience.
I haven't eaten it since.
But in general, just you're not turned off by the thought of eating Waffle House for dinner, and I really appreciate that about you.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so another thing that happened, and it feels like you said you didn't want to talk about this, but I feel like we got to.
But guys, when you hear this, you're going to think, man, we just talked about this a couple of weeks ago, which is true.
We did, but this is a separate, different incident. So I'm sitting at home the other night. I'm actually streaming, and I get a phone call. I missed it. I was ending the stream. I was ending what I was doing, and Emma comes in.
I'm asleep, by the way.
You're asleep. Emma comes in and says, "Dad, Lily's on the phone crying." And so I get the phone. I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's been in a car accident again. Now, if you remember, it was Father's Day just a few months ago. She was in a car accident. It was not her fault.
June 19th, by the way.
It was not her fault. Somebody ran a stop sign and hit her. So this past accident was not her fault. So I get a phone call, and we just got the car fixed. It took us, like, with insurance and timing, and was it August that we just got the car back? So it took us a minute to get the car fixed. So we've had the car back maybe a month and a half.
Right.
Maybe 2 months. I don't know.
It's very close to school starting back, like the week before.
And somebody has run into the back of her. And so I get dressed. I go down. She's about 10 minutes away from where we live, is where the accident happened. She's fine. There was no problems. She wasn't injured in any way. And really, honestly, other than a slightly dangly bumper, rear bumper, there wasn't a whole lot of damage to the car. But I gotta be honest, when she tells me the story, I'm still not sure exactly what happened with the car. So we gotta figure all of that out. But she's safe and everything, and so I'm thankful for that. How many car accidents have you been in your life?
Because of me?
Yeah, like when you were driving.
I've never been in a car accident.
I was in one when I was 16, and then I was in one about, was it 2 years ago? A year ago? A year and a half
Probably
ago?
A year or so.
And then I was in an accident then. But that's all I can remember.
What about when your grandpa hit the bird?
Grandpa hit the bird?
Or your Tisha hit the bird?
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's a third one.
Okay, now I have been in several car accidents that I was not driving.
Okay,
I have been in.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, so I was in a car accident one time on Thanksgiving Day. Mom was driving, and we were driving. We slid off a road and hit a tree. It was like the night before Thanksgiving, so that was one. I was in a car accident when I was a kid with my Aunt Tisha. We were going to an event, something like a carnival event or something, and I ended up didn't have my seatbelt on. Us before seatbelts were laws. That's how old I am. Hit my head in the window. They asked me what happened, and I told them a big bird hit it. That is the bird story, but really it was my head.
You were the big bird?
I was the big bird. Have you ever been in any kind of car accident?
So I've never been in an accident, but I do remember one time I drove myself to the Aiken Mall to meet my other sister Amanda there. And I don't like driving.
That's not your twin.
No, that's my other sister, my younger sister. And I had met her, and I parked way out from other vehicles. Like I was in the middle of nowhere, parking the car, got out, waited on her, because I knew she was about to be there. And I seen this big white truck pulling in, and I thought, well, this should be fine. I thought he'd park anywhere other than right beside me, because I was around nobody. And if he didn't try to pull right beside me and scrape the side of our car with his brand new white truck, and I was thinking, what is this old man doing? So he got out, and of course our car was already dinged up anyway.
That was the gold car, the one that I ended up wrecking.
It had been through a lot.
Yeah.
But I could not believe in the middle of nowhere parking lot, that's how an accident was going to occur with me, not even in the vehicle. But he pulled it. I don't know how he did it. I don't understand it to this day. But.
I just thought of another accident that I had been in. I don't know if this counts, but I did have a car accident with a grocery cart in the Walmart parking lot one time. Mm-hmm. Totally not my fault. that grocery cart was against me. It jumped up out of nowhere. It definitely was not just sitting all by itself in the parking lot and I ran it over. That didn't happen. But yeah, if you count that, I don't know that I do, but that would be one.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. So we had that. So that's, you said there hadn't been anything going on this week, but it's been, and they canceled school Friday. We thought that we were going to get a lot of rain and wind and effects from Ian. Now, we don't live on the coast, but we live close enough to the coast that we were supposed to get some residual effects from it.
Now, we're the type of people that love the rain, or I do.
You love the rain.
I'm not storms.
I don't.
No, I love storms. I love rain. So when I heard Hurricane, what was it? Ian. Hurricane Ian was on his way to see us. I got a little excited.
Which is kind of strange, but okay.
He's going to bring us some wind, some rain. We called out of school.
You love the weather.
Yeah.
Like you love.
I like to watch the Weather Channel. But I need to go work for the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
Because our weather people do not know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we didn't get.
Nothing.
We got nothing. If we got any rain, it was very, very, very slight.
It was very disappointing. Ian did not bring us what he said he was going to bring.
Would you ever want to go be a storm chaser? Would you ever want to do that?
No, I'd get nervous if I seen a tornado whipping around. But I love heavy rain.
Yeah.
I like to sit and just listen to the rain falling off the roof.
Yeah.
So anyway, that wasn't an eventful time at all. Ian wasn't eventful for us at all.
Yeah. No, we didn't. But they did cancel school.
Hey, that was a plus. We needed the day off.
And for us, honestly, I know for a lot of families, when that happens, it's very challenging. It doesn't challenge us.
It can be inconvenient to them, but it is not inconvenient for us.
Yeah, it doesn't challenge us. But I know that for a lot of families, canceling school for no reason is beyond frustrating for them.
I'll tell you, Aiken County, it will close down the schools at the drop of a raindrop.
They love to close the school for no reason.
And they did for a raindrop and a little bit of kite wind.
And you know what's funny about that is this. If it happened one time, if that was a one-time thing, no big deal. Since we've lived here, that scenario right there, they have canceled school for something and then nothing happened.
But I love it. Cancel school anytime you want. Sometimes mamas need a day off too. So
I am all for things being canceled. I love it when things are canceled. So I'm not against it. There is no hate here whatsoever. But it is interesting how often they cancel.
I was camping around the windows thinking, they saying it's going to be heavy rain. And it wasn't any rain.
Well, what was funny about that is I kept saying something and you would say...
They say it's coming.
Yeah, you'd say, okay, yeah, it's going to start at 9. Okay, yeah, it's going to start at 11. Okay, yeah, it's going to start at 2. Okay, yeah, it's going to start at 5. And it never started.
They didn't know either. I mean, I'm glad that we didn't get bad rain. Bad rain would scare me and stuff. And I know our Myrtle Beach got hit pretty good where we go to stay for vacation.
That's where we go for vacation normally.
I don't want dangerous weather, but I love severe weather.
Okay. So this just in, you love COVID and you love severe weather.
Bring it on. But Ian didn't.
Okay. Yeah. Ian was not all that said he was cracked up to be. I don't know that people in Florida and on the coast would agree with that.
I agree. I'm just saying when he got here.
But for your own personal...
Oh, for sure. Florida got hit really bad.
It wasn't all that we thought it was going. They said it was going to be for us.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's launch from that. Speaking of things not being the way that we think they should be, I want to go into a brand new segment. This is something we've never done before, and I've got a site here that tells odd news stories. So these aren't normal news stories. These are odd news stories. I'm not going to read you the story. I'm just going to read you the headline, and then I want you to give me your opinion about the headline. Okay? Now, obviously, headlines are headlines. They're meant to draw attention. So they don't give details, but these are real news stories. These are not fake news stories. These are actual news stories, but it's just odd news. It's weird kind of news.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into some weird news. Are you ready? All right. The first one is this. A blind skateboarder, this was just reported yesterday. A blind skateboarder breaks the Guinness World Record with a 50-50 grind. What do you think about that?
A 50-50 what?
Grind.
Oh,
What do you think about that?
he's pretty good.
Yeah. So what do you think about blind skateboarding? Do you think that was some, if you were blind, is that something you would want to do?
No. That's pretty good talent.
Yeah. I think it's impressive.
If he's really blind.
Yeah. I think it's impressive.
Wow.
All right. Here we go. Here's another one. This was 2 days ago. Okay. A baby was born in Ohio family's driveway after less than an hour of labor.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah.
They couldn't make it to the hospital?
I guess the labor was so quick that they couldn't make it happen.
Well, how long's the lot driveway?
I don't know.
Oh
It must have been pretty long.
An hour and a half in the driveway.
Yeah, I guess it was really long and they couldn't make it out of the
Because
driveway.
the driveway was too far. Okay.
I'm sure there are details in the article that tell why, but I think I like the idea that their driveway was just
couldn't make it
just
out of the
way too
driveway.
long.
An hour long labor in the driveway?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Well, you asked me what I
No.
thought of it.
yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. What do you think about this? This was 2 days ago as well. A Scottish man lifts a barbell while unicycling to break a world record.
Why's it got to be a Scottish man?
Well, I think that's what he is a Scottish man.
Okay. Some people always trying to break world records.
What kind of world record would you want to break? If you could break, so like I listened to the Kid Craddock Morning Show and JC on there, shout out, also my Fortnite friend, low key flex, even though we haven't played together in like 3 years, but that's okay.
Hey, you did play with him once.
We played together a couple of
Oh,
times.
did you? Well,
Yeah.
let's not forget that.
Yeah, no, we won't ever forget that. But, and he's still my friend on Fortnite.
He hadn't
I think.
got rid of you.
I hadn't checked recently, but every now and then I'll see his name pop up. But all of that's irrelevant. He wanted to walk the longest on Legos barefoot. Was like something that he tried to do one time. He did it, but then like within hours after that, somebody did it better than what he had done it. And so,
Oh, I don't know what I
so
would
what
do.
would, if you were trying to break a world record, what do you think you would break? Like what kind of record would you want to break? Do you have any idea? Like what you
No, I
want
have
to, like
no
hold your
idea.
breath the longest,
I
or
couldn't do that.
swim
Couldn't
the
do that.
longest? Would you want to fly around the world?
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, catch the biggest fish, but that would be really hard to do.
That would be. I wonder what that is.
I don't know.
You ought to look that up on your phone. What is the biggest fish? I bet it's like a whale.
Somebody's caught a whale?
I'm sure, right? Surely somebody's caught a whale.
You think?
Surely, in the history of time,
Jonah. Actually, the whale called Jonah.
Yeah,
Jonah called the whale.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't know the answer to that, but surely someone has caught a whale.
I don't know about that. I think a whale would be hard to catch.
Here's another world record on the topic of world records. Minnesota gardener. Let me start over. A Minnesota gardener's pumpkin might break a world record. And so think about that. A world record pumpkin. It spent 200 days growing. Seems interesting. So would you want to grow something? I mean, anything like that?
That could be a possibility.
Okay.
I do like to watch crops grow.
Yeah.
Plants
You
grow.
do like to grow. Like you like to plant things, grow things. You
But
do
I've
like
never
that.
done it to
To
see
break
how
a world
big it
record.
would get.
Yeah. All right. Here's the last one. Here's the last one. And I think this one is really interesting. Just wanted to see if you would ever want to strive for this, because you actually could still break this record. Okay. So it is 12 siblings in Spain break a world record with a combined age of over 1,058 years.
You think I can beat that?
Yeah, you and all of your siblings are still alive. How all right, let's see. 1,058
Well,
years.
there's 12 of them.
Yeah, but let's just say, but think about if that 1,058 divided by 4, you would each have to live an average age of 265 years to break this record.
That's ridiculous.
Okay. So you don't think you're going to do that?
No.
No. Maybe.
That's a silly one. You don't have anything else?
Let me look. That was the one that I thought that you would be most interested in, like the siblings living so long. Oh, here is something that was interesting. This was posted actually 4 days ago. They finally caught a bandit that they had been looking for in Scotland again. In a Scottish bakery, they had been hunting for a bandit, and it turned out to be a red squirrel that was captured after shutting down the bakery for days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a bandit.
Yeah, they were looking for a bandit.
But it was a squirrel?
It was a squirrel.
Trying to get all the donuts?
Yes. Or whatever it is that they were selling in the bakery.
Okay.
So what did you like the news of the weird?
Some of the news of the weird was good.
Yeah.
You could tell by my response that it was good.
And and that's just been the last 7 days. So in the next 7 days, there may be new weird stories that we could talk about. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what happens with that.
I have seen people grow big pumpkins before. I've seen them, like on the news.
I do want to Google.
Or like watermelons or gourds,
Gourd? What is a gourd?
I think it's like a pumpkin. Like shaped oddly pumpkins.
Okay. All right, Christy. The biggest fish ever caught. Okay? The biggest fish ever caught was a great white shark.
Oh, wow.
That weighed this is according to Google now.
Google knows all.
Google knows all. A great white shark that weighed an unbelievable 2,664 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Caught in Australia in 1959.
Whoa.
And it took, this is probably more impressive than that. It took Alfred Dean, who is the person that caught it, only 50 minutes to pull this sucker in. That's probably, the shark is impressive, but it only took him 50 minutes to fight this sucker and bring him in.
A 2,000 pounder. Right?
Yeah, 2,664 pounds.
That's hard to believe. He must have had a really strong fishing pole.
Because
when I went to the beach and watched them pulling that little, well, he was a big enough fish for me, but it broke that man's fishing pole.
What would you do if you caught a 2,000-pound fish?
I don't know.
Would you just let the fishing pole go?
They'd probably make me. Because it'd pull me in and eat me.
Yeah.
Could you imagine me not letting go of the thing and me falling in the water? It'd be like riding a shark on Fortnite.
Yeah.
Skating on the, feeding, with a fishing pole and skating along on the water. So.
All right. So
we are rambling.
We are. We're all over the place.
On.
Okay. All right. Last thing I want to talk about today, and this is actually something that you brought some attention to. You actually have a grievance against me. And so I thought that we would do a segment just called Air Your Grievance. Okay. So I'm going to open the floor to you, allow you to share what your grievance is with me, and then we'll talk about it. And then actually, fun fact, have an article to go along with it's actually your perspective and my perspective. It brings them together. So go ahead and air your grievance.
Okay, so if y'all tuned in last week, and maybe the week before that, we've been talking about budgeting our finances to take care of the Jeep since, transmission's gone.
Yeah, we're having to pay for a brand new transmission.
So we're supposed to cut back on things. And
does it seem like it's taking a really long time to do that?
It is.
Is that normal?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, our mechanic went on a cruise and, having a good old time. So it's just taking a while, I guess. But anyway, so we're supposed to be on this budget to just kind of watch where our finances go, save up anything that we can to help pay for the Jeep. And so I'm like penny pinching. I'm like, don't go over my budget for the grocery store, not eating out here to there. Sometimes you let us still do it. So I figured if you're saying it's okay, it's okay. We make sure we're still going.
We're good.
Okay, we're good. So we went to Target yesterday to buy some birthday gifts for Bray. And never am I thinking about, I need this or that. I did get some Clorox cleanup for the house, but I noticed when we get to the self-checkout, there is numerous bags of candy in the buggy. And I was like, I know how much those jelly beans are. A big old bag of the good jelly beans.
Jelly Belly.
Because I was going to buy them for you around Easter time, and I remember calling you saying, hey, those are kind of expensive. I don't know if we need to get these jelly beans, so I didn't get them. And yesterday, for whatever reason, you were coming out with bags and bags of candy that were not on our budget to get.
Yeah.
And so I felt like you didn't mind spending money on jelly beans.
Yeah.
You'd rather spend money on jelly beans than save money for a Jeep.
Yeah.
And so that's my take on, I can't believe how much you spent. And you wouldn't tell me how much you spent on those jelly beans. And I told Emma, I said, Emma, how much are the jelly beans? You don't want to know, Mama. I'm not going to tell you because she didn't want to rat you out.
Emma didn't want to tell you how much they were because she was trying to not get me in trouble.
Right. She didn't want to tell me, but I knew how much they were. And I was just surprised that you would pay that much money for a bag of jelly beans when we're trying to save the money up for the Jeep. So anyway.
So, all right.
It's just a silly something I brought up that.
So this is your chance to air grievances. I'd like to respond.
Okay.
I like jelly beans. And you did call me earlier. I can't remember. It's been several months ago. And you're like, hey, they have a bag of jelly beans here that's like, I'll go ahead and say it's like $13.
Mm-hmm. It was around Easter time when we were doing the Bean Boozle and all that.
And so I was like, no, don't get it. Mm-hmm. But I've been wanting snacks that like when I sit here that I could just snack on. And I love jelly beans. I love Tootsie Rolls. I actually looked at Tootsie Rolls, but I only like chocolate Tootsie Rolls, not the fruity kind of Tootsie Rolls. And that's all that they had was those fruity ones. And so I just decided, I was like, you know what? It's a big bag. It is $13, which is it's a fair amount of money for candy. I will admit that. But I knew that it would last me for a while.
That's like going out and eating lunch.
But I'm
just saying that could pay for somebody's lunch.
Yeah.
And you bought a bag of jelly beans.
So do you think I should eat these jelly beans for lunch one day?
No, I'm just saying as much as that bag of jelly beans cost, that could have bought you and me some lunch.
Well, all right, here's what I think this brings us to it is a different perspective on perspective's not a good word. It is a different character trait that I think matches you and I really well together. And that is this. You are a saver and I am a spender. And normally our experience that we have with couples are there are generally one person that loves to spend and there's generally one person that loves to save. And you are the saver and I am the spender. And that's true. I know that. It's normally actually opposite. Normally the guy is the one that likes to save and it's the lady that likes to spend. It's not always that way, but that typically is the way that dynamic works. But in my case, I am the spender. You are the saver. And in all honesty, you need both of those. You need both. Do you agree with that or not?
Right now, we both need to be like me. Right now, we both need to be the saver.
Okay.
You think we need both of us?
I think you need...
Well, I mean, if you tell me, I have some... Here, Christy, you go spend $100. I can spend that $100 with a click of my finger or a click of the button.
You don't have problems spending money.
I don't like to spend money though.
But like if I were like, yo, here is $100, here's $200, go buy some clothes, you got no problem going to do that.
Because I'm telling that money where it can go, and so it makes me know that it's not messing up our bills or our finances if I go and spend that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, all right. So I told you I had an article. It's an article called credithuman.com. Okay. And it's just simply entitled, this little post is just called Saver versus Spender.
Okay.
And now I won't read the whole thing.
Okay.
But there's a couple things I wanted to just mention from this. The first one is this. It talks about why each person needs the other person. Okay. Why it's so important for each person or it's tips. Let me say it this way. It's tips for the saver, tips for the spender.
Okay.
All right. So tips for the spender.
You.
All right. Me.
Okay.
This is a tip for me. Listen to the saver. Consider values and goals and do your best to leave money alone that has been set aside to reach those goals. And I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I do think that, and I think I have seen this. I have felt this at times in my own selfishness because I am a spender, and I have felt, and I have had conversations with people that feel this way. Is there's like, man, I work hard for this money. I should be able to spend and get what I want. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking that, but I heard Dave Ramsey say one time that is an immature thought. And it is. Mm-hmm. It's a selfish thought. It's immature and it's selfish. Another thing that Dave Ramsey says, and you and I are big Dave Ramsey listeners. We listen to a lot of his teaching, try to follow to the best of our ability a lot of his spending principles. It has helped me as a spender. You know, it doesn't change my spots any. You know what I mean? Like I'm still a spender. Right. That didn't change anything. But it did give me a better understanding of money management. And so I do appreciate that. But another thing that I've heard him say oftentimes is that you have to basically, you save for what you want, you sacrifice for what you want, or what you want will be the sacrifice. And so it's this idea that you have to give up some okay things now for bigger things later. So I think that's a good tip. Mm-hmm. As a spender, I feel like that's a good tip. Do you feel like that's good advice for me?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right. So here is tips for the saver.
Okay.
All right. Tips for the saver are listen to the spender. Set aside money for activities which honor their free spirit and more impulsive purchases. Mm-hmm. And so as a spender, there has to be not tons of money, but there has to be this little something that's like,
jelly bean money.
I can buy jelly beans if I want it.
That was the jelly bean money right there.
Yeah. Set you aside. If you are a saver,
You want some jelly beans.
you need to allow the spender in your life to have some jelly bean money.
I'm okay with that.
We're not talking about car money. We're not talking about PlayStation money. We're not even talking about new gun money or, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it needs to have, they need to be able to have something in their pocket that they can walk around with and get whatever they want when they want to get it.
That satisfies their
right
little itch.
So like for me, I'm totally fine with not getting something really big. I understand that we're saving, but if I want jelly beans, I kind of want to get some jelly beans.
And that's fine. But I just don't think that way as the saver.
It is a different...
I don't think that... I mean, right now, all I can think about is we need to save every dime we have. So, in my mind, I'm not spending any leftover dimes for anything. So, but no, I totally get because my twin's a spender. She loves to spend. She's like you. If you two were together, oh my, y'all never have anything because y'all would spend everything y'all had because y'all just say, sure, you get this, I get that. It would just, y'all wouldn't have any money. But anyway, being a saver, it's hard to say $12 for jelly beans. Yeah. It's just hard for me to see past that.
And I agree. I don't disagree. $12 for jelly beans does seem, maybe somebody's out there, and money's all relative because some people are like, bro, I'd spend $12 on a pack of gum.
I get it. Some people are like, $12. I spend $20 on whatever,
It's all relative.
Right.
But, I do think that those are some good tips. There's one more tip that is for the both, and it's just simply this. Living paycheck to paycheck is stressful and can take a toll on the entire family. Consider both the saver and the spender perspective in how you put together the plan. Be sure to include payments in your savings as well as money to spend at will, which I think is also just a couple of just really quick tips that you and I live by, or we try to at least. We're not perfect at this, but we try to live off a budget. I mean, literally every single month we sit down, write down a budget, and try to live off of that budget. So we try to identify, here's how much money we have coming in, here's how much money we have coming out. And so that's one thing. The other thing is try to use cash when you can. And I used to be way better at it, honestly, right now than I am now. But I used to go to every week and get the cash that we were going to spend out of the ATM. Cash in hand, groceries, gas, that kind of stuff. I don't do that as much now, but there is a good solid principle in spending only the cash that you plan to spend. Yeah. Especially if you have a hard time limiting yourself, it's a good way to set a limit. Yeah. Because I think for spenders, we start off with a pocket full of money and think, I'm not going to spend this money. But then a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit here, you've spent more than what you intended to spend. And so if you will set up safeguards for yourself, it'll help protect you in that. So
that's good advice.
Yeah. Couple just really kind of quick thoughts about that. So I hear your grievance, and I am going to refrain from buying any more jelly beans until this bag of jelly beans runs out. Well,
listening to the little article, I guess I should give you $12. You can spend on whatever.
I appreciate that. And in return, I'm going to let you save all the rest of the money for us.
I can do that.
There you go. All right. Well, guys, hey, that's all that we've got for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us a little bit. Christy, this is really bad. I was supposed to give somebody a shout out today, and I'm sitting here racking my brain. Somebody that told me that they were listening to the podcast this week, and I cannot remember who it is.
Do I know him?
Yes.
I do.
I am trying my very, very best we had a conversation, and they even said something about getting a shout out.
Oh, did they?
And so if that is you and we talked this week, I am so sorry. It is not a good look that I cannot remember the person that I was, because the truth is this, we're up to 7 listeners now, Christy. 7 listeners. It is hard to keep up with.
You don't think it's more than 7?
Well, I mean, on a good day, maybe.
Okay.
On a good day, maybe.
But people are watching the little snippets.
Yeah, you did it.
I had to think about how you told me to remember it.
Snippets
on whatever you're putting it.
Yeah.
And people are commenting it and liking it.
Yeah, there are more than 7 listeners. I say that jokingly. We actually have a really good listener base, and more and more people have listened in.
Who to shout out to?
Man, I can't remember.
Was that a guy or a girl?
It seems like it was a dude.
Oh.
And I just cannot remember who it was. So I am sorry. Remind me again, and I will make a mental note to give you a shout out.
Yes, let me know, and I'll shout it out to you.
Let Christy know. She remembers things.
I won't forget you.
She remembers things a whole lot better than I do. So, all right. Well, guys, hey, thank you so much for jumping in here today. I genuinely appreciate it. I appreciate so much that you took a couple of minutes to spend some time with us here today. Hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Hey, make sure to do this. Make sure that you follow us on whatever platform you're listening on. Maybe you're watching or listening on Spotify, maybe Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or even Anchor. We'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. It lets you know whenever we go live. Also lets you leave comments or leave ratings, and we'd love to hear back from you if you would allow us to do that. The other thing is this. Man, we'd love to hear from you. So maybe there's something you'd like to know, something you'd love to share with us. And so you could contact us through Instagram. That's probably really the best way. Christy Lots, spelled the same way as the podcast. And you could leave us a message there and let us know what you think. Maybe you've got a question or maybe a topic that you'd love to hear about. So, well, guys, that's all we got for you today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you again so much for joining us. And until next time.
See ya.
See ya. Bye, guys.